Coverage starting with Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, officials here are downplaying these latest numbers, but they certainly are cause for concern for Democrats. Look, President Biden is making the economic recovery the cornerstone of his reelection campaign, but our latest ABC News Washington Post poll shows Americans overwhelmingly just aren't feeling it, that despite easing inflation and low unemployment, Americans really aren't buying into his positive Bidenomics message. Just 30% of Americans approve of his handling of the economy. In fact, 44% of people say they are not as well off now as they were when Biden took office. And on another...
Sarah, there's usually an adjective in front of concerned when you talk to Democrats about how they are feeling about the White House and the state of Joe Biden's reelection effort. But of course, all of this must be put into context. We are more than a year before the general election next year. That's why all of these polls certainly offer us a sense of where things are. But as you said, that ABC News Washington Post poll is an outlier. All of the other recent and national polls show that this is essentially a dead heat between President Biden and former President Donald Trump, should they actually face off next year in a rematch. But one thing is very clear. The specifics of these polls are not as important as the underlying dynamics here. And that is that there are challenges for the White House, that they have not overcome concerns about the economy. They have not overcome concerns about immigration, inflation, on and on. So that is, of course, the backdrop for all of this.
So the mainstream media's got to get out here and run cover for Uncle Sleepy Joe. You know, trying to say stupid stuff like, you know, he's tied with Trump. They're lying, bro. Why would they tell the truth now? Okay? If they say Trump is up by 10, that means he's probably up by a gazillion. You hear me? These people have been lying. He's got to be up at least by 20. All right. Look at his rallies. This is unreal, son. The people lined up at these rallies. They need to stop lying, okay? They think people don't know. They better stop playing, bro.
You hear a lot of headlines in this new poll.
Yeah, Kristen, and you mentioned an uphill climb for these Republican opponents of Donald Trump. Let's show folks from our new poll exactly how steep it is. Look at this. Donald Trump, brand new national poll of Republican primary voters, nearly 60% support the former president. His nearest rival, Ron DeSantis, more than 40 points behind him now. Obviously, you can see here nobody else in single digits. And look at the movement, too. From the start of the summer, we polled this back in June. Trump seemed to have a dominant lead then. It has only gotten more dominant. From 43 now, it was not even 30 in June. And you can see here, we asked the question. I think this gets to the heart of it. We asked Republicans, should Donald Trump be the leader of your party? And now nearly 60% say yes. It wasn't quite 50 at the start of the summer.
Well, Stephen, what's so stunning about this number, a lot's happened since June. We're talking 2 more indictments against former President Trump, so 4 in total, and the first GOP primary debate. And yet, Mr. Trump is just solidifying his lead with GOP voters.
And Kristen, you know this from talking to Republican critics of Trump from rival campaigns. Everything you just explained, they thought would take him down a peg this summer. And instead, he has only moved up here. You can see the number saying the party needs a new leader. That has gone down. So for Donald Trump there, nothing but good news. And it raises this question. If Republicans go forward and nominate Trump again, this is what the rematch in our poll would look like right now. 46-46. And you remember, in 2020, Joe Biden actually won the popular vote by more than 4 points. And how about this? DeSantis, who sort of pitched himself as the electable version of Trump to Republicans, fares worse against Biden than Trump does. We also tested Nikki Haley, the former UN ambassador. She actually leads Joe Biden.
They can't keep lying to you, talking about Sleepy Joe. It's about to take a victory lap, okay? They're just trying to control the narrative. They do this every time. But they know that Joe is getting the boots smoked off of him, okay? It's very clear and obvious when they have to admit it. When they have to come on TV and admit to you that Joe Biden's doing a bad job, because it's just overwhelming, okay? They're pulling people over in the streets, talking to them, asking them questions. Your average person is smarter than you think they are. Okay? And they don't like inflation. Half of them might not know how to spell it. They might not really understand, but they don't like it. All right? They don't like the inflations. They don't like the inflation. Okay? And because it's real. Remember they told us that inflation wasn't even real. Remember that? Didn't they try to change the definition of inflation? They knew it was going to get bad, all the spending they was doing, all the money they've been giving to the Ukrainians to lose the war against Russia. They knew this was going to happen, but they never cared as long as they got their pockets lined. All right. But they know that Sleepy Joe did not get voted into office. Okay. They stole the election, bro. They can say it was debunked all they want. Ain't nobody vote for this man. 81 million people didn't vote for this man. Okay. The proof is now. Okay. More people voted for Donald Trump than any other president in history. Okay. That's a fact. I don't care what they say. They can call you conspiracy theories, deplorables. I don't care what they call you. Donald Trump won that election, bro. Now, when the video evidence come out and the whole world get to see, we're going to say, I told you so. It's been painful to watch these lying scumbags pretend like they've been in office doing a good job. They suck, bro. Okay? They suck. And now you get to see, you actually get to go through their policies. That's the only way you can show these people is that you have to let them feel it. You got to hit you got to hit them in the pockets hard. That's the only way people wake up, man. When everything is shaking up. So it's a good thing that this happened. I mean, I wish we didn't have to go through it, but it's sort of a good thing that all this got, this got exposed, because without the exposure to the enemy, how would you convince these people, man? You still got a bunch of Looney Tunes out there in the comment section. Oh my goodness. Equity and inclusion. Oh. Joe Biden's done a wonderful job. Who are these people? Like, you got to be on crack to say something like that. You got to be Hunter Biden to do this kind of sliding, bro. There's no other explanation. So we want to know the real numbers. We want to see the real polls. We want to see what they're going to reveal. Because I know this many people ain't vote. 81 million people voted for them. If you got trouble trying to figure out who to vote for, me or Trump, you ain't black. Beijing Biden. Open borders. Stealing your jobs. Raising your taxes on your boss, so your ass get fired, you get laid off, and you got to go on food stamps and government assistance. Boy, look at what's happening. It's starting to reveal and it's starting to come out. The truth is coming out in the numbers. Numbers don't lie, man. They always add up to be the same thing every time. But the Democrats, I mean, they literally want to tell you that 1 + 1 = 5. And it never did. It never will. Okay? There's good and evil, and there's right and wrong. Somebody's lying.
Washington Post ABC poll, also an NBC poll, shows that Donald Trump on the Republican side is 40 points away from Ron DeSantis. But here's the headline that came out on early Sunday morning. Donald Trump is currently leading Joe Biden, the incumbent president, by 10% when they go head to head. This was such a jaw-dropping result. The Washington Post immediately, in the body of the story where they talk about how Trump is beating Biden, had to explain, hey, we don't think this is accurate per se. It's probably an outlier.
Right, because all
Their
the
own
other
poll.
polls have been much closer than that. When this came out over the weekend, we were all like, what? 10 points ahead?
What?
In that poll, it says 62% of Democrat-leaning voters said the Democratic Party should choose a different candidate. 56% said they disapprove of the way Biden is handling the job. 64% disapprove of how he's handling the economy. And now there's this progressive group called Progressive Now, this liberal group. They're going to spend $70 million to make Biden cooler, to make him appeal to the young people, like through memes and
Might take more than 70 million.
Right.
Yeah, that's
And
all I
then
had.
They're
That's
testing
all they
different
had with them.
messages.
In
But-
that same poll, Ainsley,
Yeah.
that you were just citing, it said that 50%, he only had 50% support of minority voters as well. And the New York Times is telling and warning the Democrats, they say running on democracy and abortion is not going to have any impact on black and Hispanic voters because they are living paycheck to paycheck. So that tells you this whole election is going to be about the economy.
Well, and Lawrence, even in your group, ages 18 to 39, 59% of them disapprove of Joe Biden.
Because they're struggling.
So what's very funny is Martha Raddatz, the last time we saw Martha Raddatz this upset, Donald Trump won an election, she
She's
actually
crying.
cried.
She cried.
She was hosting the show, and she's like, this can't be happening. So quickly they say, well, 5:30, I'm sorry our poll is terrible, but if you go back to May, they had another poll, Donald Trump was winning by 7. So maybe they should fire their pollsters until Joe Biden wins one of them. They did say 5:38, which is a poll separate from ABC, only has Donald Trump winning by 2. So why? So then when you go down, you wonder, what makes you so upset that Donald Trump's winning by 10? Does it make any sense? Yes, it makes sense. Look at the rest of the poll. When asked, are you better off today than you were before Joe Biden took office? Only 15% said yes. Not as well off, 44%, about the same, 39%. Only 12% approve of his energy and gas policies. 23% approve of his immigration. Who are those 23? And overall, his approval is 37%. This all adds up to that. It isn't, the poll isn't an outlier. Every element of this poll, which I think would find most disturbing, is it goes separate from what the media is telling you.
That's right.
It goes separate from what everyone else is telling you. They just look past this and say, I got a huge problem with the guy that can't find his way on and off the stage and can't finish a sentence.
Maybe what the Washington Post is trying to do, they are trying to give him a little nudge. Hey,
Yeah.
Joe, you're too old.
That's what I was thinking at first, but then I thought after they came
Why
out and
not?
said, no, this is just an outlier.
Well, they gotta
maybe
say
they got
that.
a lot of pushback from
Right.
Democrats.
Well,
they
that
just
comes
text
down to
him?
people who
Now, I hope y'all learned your lesson. For real, man. I hope y'all learned your lesson. I mean, did I vote for Barack Obama? Yeah, I did. When I was too stupid to understand what was going on, not paying attention. I voted for him one time because everybody said, this is the first black president. We got to vote for this man. Hey. That's identity politics, man. We don't do that. I don't do it anymore, man. And I'm very glad to see a lot of young folks, especially on YouTube out there in the YouTube world. Shout out to all y'all, man, making videos, and you guys are very intelligent, man. A lot of you guys, I really appreciate that, man. Because when I was that age, I wasn't thinking about none of that. But I'm so happy to see more young people that are conservative, that understand what's happening. That's going to be a real big driving force to be reckoned with. And I'm with you guys, man. Guys, thank you so much. Hey, I love all y'all. Like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell notification. Peace.